I'm Matt from Unlimited. Welcome to this Q&A. Well, WrestleMania 33 is behind us. And WrestleMania 33 marks the official end to a long career of The Undertaker. And if there's one guy on a WWE roster that I have always and will always respect, it is The Undertaker. Because he is Mr. WWE. He is Mr. WrestleMania. He is the locker room leader for the WWE. And he has been for a very long time. The man's done more for the business than pretty much anybody else. And for that, I offer my respect and my love for The Undertaker and everything that he's done for WWE over the past 2+ decades. So in honor of The Undertaker, I decided to make this next Q&A Undertaker themed, and I got a lot of good questions. Thank you all for submitting questions. If you want questions answered for a future Q&A video, go to the description box down below for some more details on how to submit questions. I apologize if I don't sound that well. I've been dealing with some allergies. It's springtime. This is usually around the time I get sick. So, I'm the latest victim of the allergy bug. So, let's kick it off. Walter Main, how important is The Undertaker to you as a fan? He's one of the most important figures in WWE. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of disagreement. The Undertaker is the guy. The Undertaker is the bedrock. The Undertaker is Mr. WWE, what I called him earlier. And, going back at WrestleMania 20, that was the first WrestleMania that I watched, and it happened to be the return of the Dead Man. And for me, who personally did not like him as the American Badass, to see him come back as the Dead Man in my first WrestleMania was awesome, and it was a moment that'll live forever with me. He's one of the most important figures in WWE. He's one of the most important figures in my life as a fan. I will always be a fan of him and everything that he's done. What is your favorite non-WrestleMania Undertaker match? Probably King of the Ring 98. Hell in a Cell against Mankind. What else? There's more out there, but that's usually the go-to for anybody. Is The Undertaker Vince's greatest creation? Yes. And I really, truly do not believe that there's going to be another creation like The Undertaker. Is The Undertaker more important to the business overall than Hulk Hogan? In terms of having a locker room leader, a guy that everybody respects, a guy that everybody goes to, no. I think that Undertaker is more important in that aspect. If you're going strictly off of business, Hulk Hogan did main event the first 9 WrestleManias. So I'm probably going to give the edge in a business standpoint to Hulk Hogan. Sorry. Could anybody else have made the Undertaker gimmick work outside of Mark Calloway? That's a bunch of speculation, and I don't really know how I can answer that. But the best answer I can give is I'd like to see someone else try. Mark Calloway was the guy that made the Undertaker character work 100%. And it showed because he's easily Vince's greatest creation a creation that will never be replicated. It'll never be duplicated. It's a creation that will go down in history as perhaps the greatest character in WWE. And that goes inside the ring and even outside the ring. In an era where kayfabe is completely 100% dead, Undertaker is the one guy who will always keep kayfabe alive. You see guys like Jericho, he'll go on Twitter and he'll stay in character, but then he has his podcast and he's out of character. The Undertaker won't do that. The Undertaker will always be the Undertaker. That is a lot in thanks to Mark Calloway, because he played the character so well. He was able to play the character so well, be professional, and he made it work. I think it'll be tough to figure out who could have played the character better. But like I said, I would like to see someone else try. And that's ultimately how we were going to find out. Since nobody else tried, then yes, he was the greatest person to play the character. He was the best, excuse me. Who would you say is the Undertaker's greatest rival? Probably Mick Foley. Might come a little out of nowhere, but yeah, I'll go with Mick Foley. Maybe Kane. It's another option too. In more recent times, maybe you could say Triple H. Those are three right there. How did you like The Undertaker's heel run from late 2001 to mid-2002? I didn't. Sorry, I was just never a big fan of American Badass, Big Evil Undertaker. It just wasn't him. It was a complete turnaround from his character. Going back and watching some of the stuff he did, I just wasn't as interested when he was the American Badass as I was when he was the Dead Man. I thought that from a storyline standpoint, his storylines worked better when he was the Dead Man. Not saying he didn't do good things when he was American Badass. It just wasn't him. Maybe it's him in real life, but I know Undertaker as the Undertaker. I don't know him as this bandana-wearing, motorcycle-riding badass. I don't. So there you go. Brett Litke. Was there a single defining moment for The Undertaker that sealed him in the conversation for greatest of all time? I don't know if there was a single defining moment. The streak is obviously up there. But even without the streak, I think that The Undertaker was one of the greatest superstars of all time. I might go with maybe when the streak ended, but yet he still tried to come back afterwards, and he came back for 3 extra WrestleManias. Also, as much as people are going to hate me for saying this, the fact that when he went out, he put somebody over on the way out. Like Ric Flair did, like Shawn Michaels did, like Austin did. I think that's the right way to go. And that's always been the right, for the most part, that's been the right way to go for wrestling, is when you go out on your back. And you try to help somebody out the door. And The Undertaker did that. As much as you may hate it, that's what he did. But always the fact that he came back. He never jumped ship. He never left. He never held out over money. He never, I don't know if he never turned down a storyline, but he never, how can I say this? He was never a controversial figure outside of professional wrestling, like guys like Austin were, guys like Hogan too. He was just there to do business. And that's what I ultimately respect about The Undertaker, is that when he was there to do the business. He was there to do business. So, no, I don't think there was a single defining moment other than him never leaving. It's probably the biggest thing. What is your favorite Undertaker attire? Probably when he was with the Ministry. And he wore that Ministry attire. I liked that. Is there anyone aside from John Cena who you would have liked to see face Undertaker at WrestleMania? If so, who would you have removed from the Undertaker streak to make it happen? I wouldn't have removed anyone from the Undertaker streak to have him face Cena. In fact, I would have that be a streak match. And even after the streak was broken, I still would have had the match in some way. Even without the streak, that's still a big money match. And there's not really an argument that could be made against that. But who would I replace from the streak? Well, first of all, if we're going strictly who would I replace, I would go Giant Gonzalez. I would go King Kong Bundy. I would go Big Show and A-Train. And I would go Brock Lesnar. Quite frankly, I don't think the streak should have ever ended. Who would I replace those guys with? WrestleMania 9. You were already doing stuff with Brett. You were already doing stuff with Yoko. You were already doing stuff with Hogan. It's tough. WrestleMania 11, that's tough too. WrestleMania 19, if you weren't doing Rock Austin 3, maybe do that heel Rock character against The Undertaker. I think that could have worked. But yeah, and in terms of Brock, WrestleMania 30, I would have had The Undertaker face Daniel Bryan. And even though what Daniel Bryan did that night was spectacular, I would have had him enter the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, and then instead of going after the title, I would have went after The Undertaker. Because some may argue that The Undertaker, facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania, especially with the streak on the line, is bigger than any title. Because you're wrestling the guy. You're wrestling Mr. WWE. So that's what I would have done. Undertaker accomplished so much in his career. Was there anything he missed in accomplishing that you would have liked to see happen? I would have liked to see him retire with the streak. Or I would have had Roman be the one to end the streak. As much as you may hate me for that. I would have liked to see him get to 20-0 and then retire. Or 25-0 and then retire. Or as he was trying to get to 25, that's where you throw in Roman. Well, to be fair, WrestleMania 33 would have been 25 if the streak was still intact. But in terms of championships, no. Quite frankly, The Undertaker was never really a guy that needed a title. I mean, yeah, he had some title reigns, but he was never really a guy that you just had to rush to put the belt on him. Because he was the top guy without being the champion. He's The Undertaker. So no, other than the streak, no, I don't see anything else. The likes of Steve Austin, The Rock, and DX get brought up often when discussing the importance of the Attitude Era. But Taker is sometimes undervalued in this regard. How important was he in redefining wrestling in the late 90s? Yeah, I don't know why Undertaker does not get the credit that he deserves in the Attitude Era. He played a big role in establishing guys like Mankind, big role in establishing guys like Kane. He established matches such as Hell in a Cell and the Inferno match. It surprises me that he doesn't get enough credit compared to guys like Austin, and guys like Rock, and guys like Vince, and guys like DX. It surprises me, but he should get a lot more credit. If you had to define Undertaker's legacy with one word, what would it be? Just simply amazing. Just amazing. That's pretty much it. What did it take for Undertaker to evolve his character successfully so many times? He adapted to the times. He adapted to the wrestlers. Just took a whole lot of skill. And the Undertaker's always had the skill. So, yeah, that's about it. And latched onto that, just how impressive is it to think that a character that got over in 1990 was able to be molded into a character that is still successful in 2017. Completely 100% agree with that. It'd be weird if The Undertaker debuted today. I know you have Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt isn't as over as he should be. Quite frankly, I don't know if The Undertaker would be as over as he would be if he debuted today. That's an interesting debate. Go in the comments down below and debate that. Angel Ernest, thoughts on the way he retired? He went out on his back. He helped somebody on the way out. Mad respect. Mad respect. Robert DiPietro, what was your favorite Undertaker feud? Probably Kane. Especially in the 90s. The one in 2004 was good, and the one in 2010 was okay. But his feud with Kane in the 90s was really damn good. If I had to say another one... Maybe his feud with Shawn. Late 90s and WrestleMania's 25 and 26. I'll go with that. Yep, that's it. Thanks, guys, for submitting your questions. This has been another Wrestling Q&A here on this channel. There will be another one coming soon, so make sure you send in questions.